Oh, turret, turret, turret. If only you knew what kind of monster you were fighting. What's up, guys? I'm here to do a breakdown and review of chapter 174 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, which is known as Gawain versus Turret. This review will also be on the shorter side because I'm running one last little experiment for the day, and thusly I will be yapping quite quick. So let's stop wasting more time and let's have a ride into it. Editing me, are you ready? 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact. I'll be like, what did we expect? Like we knew it was going to be a stomp. And I know y'all are going to be like, well, but pencil, the end of the chapter, pencil, the end of the, she's going to get diff, pencil, the end of the, like, if this chapter isn't the clearest setup for the return of Big Gawain, like, ever, like, if this isn't Nakaba literally putting down the puck and then reeling back with a hockey stick right into smacking into the goal, like, this is going to be such a violent diff. Notably, though, I do wonder how much of her big form she's going to use. You may be wondering, pencil, what on earth are you talking about? How dare you skip to the end of the chapter? Let's talk from the start, and here we are to talk from the start. So, we open up and we get to see that Anne is in fact woken up, and Percy's like, you can't die on me, Anne. Anne, please. Anne, whose cheeks will I clap? Nauseans doesn't count, Anne. At least not yet. But young Anne, please wake up. And so he's very, very close to Anne. And notably, we see that they are back in the waiting room. Unfortunately, she couldn't get an actual bed. She's just like on a specific block of stone. And we get to see that ultimately Percy had absolute faith in Nauseans. Like, Percy was like, Nauseans is not that much of a random that he would lose to the random that is Rothus. Don't you worry. And that's why he didn't stick around to watch. Even though he likely knew that Anne would wake up on her own terms, he wanted to just make sure she was alright. So he stuck around by her specifically. And of course, Nauseans runs back and talking about how they put the, I want to say put the brakes on. No, beat the brakes off of Rothus. And even is proud to admit that they got some revenge for Anne. And I do like that. Once again, Nauseans and Anne, they don't necessarily, like, I just feel bad for Nauseans because I know he's destined to fail. And ultimately, Anne doesn't know that. And thusly, they have a good dynamic. Ultimately, it's very, very sweet to see these two together. And notably, we see Anne feel a little bit like, wow, so Percy won, and Nauseans won, and I lost. Looks like I'm just the only loser here. Which is so sad. Like, I mean, I get it. It's part of the funny joke that, you know, Donnie doesn't even get counted. Like, no one expected Donnie to win. And thusly, he doesn't even get counted. It's just like, the main trio and Donnie. That's how it was. That's how it's treated here. I feel bad for Donnie. I feel like he got beat up and done horrifically dirty. But ultimately, we knew he had to get done horrifically dirty. But with it being the case, ultimately, Percy glazes Anne a little bit and is like, you wanted my book, Anne. Even when you were down, you never let go of that rapier. You were so cool out there. And of course, Anne is like, oh no, my husbando, he's complimenting me. And we see she thanks him, but notably we don't see her face when she thanks him because he's probably still blushing. But I do think that is just a consolation prize, right? Like, she still lost. Like, she still knows she got diffed. Even if it wasn't by Diodor himself, she got diffed at all, which definitely hurts her pride. And I would understand that. Especially, I'm not even a guy who fights, but like, I get it. Even if there's like a reason why you lost, the idea of losing still is not fun. I do like that. Though, while Nauseans a smile upon this interaction because they realize, oh no, I'm really never getting with Percy. I'm literally just gonna have to watch from the windowsill. I may have to turn into Jericho next series. But Donnie is still just horrifically insulted at the idea that, hey, I mean, I lost too. I'm part of this group too. In fact, Anne, I still diff you. I mean, like, ultimately, the current power ranking of the Percy platoon is clearly Percy at 1, Nauseans at 2, Donnie at 3, and Anne at 4. Right? Like, I think that is it. So, Anne, you are still the weakest, but unfortunately, or no, fortunately for your case, unfortunately for Donnie, you are much more seriously treated a character than the daughters. But of course, then we lead into Turret scolding Rothus for being like, how on earth did you lose this? You had one job! And that was very specifically to help us get Lord Diodor through this. How are you going to do that? And you're going to take it out at the gosh darn tournament! But with it being the case, we do get to see that while Turret is scolding Rothus, Gawain comes and scolds Turret, hitting him with the if you adults can't tell the difference between a little mistake and fate at work, you can't even win this festival here, much less a real war. Which I will admit, kind of a crazy bar considering Gawain has not actually fought in a real war. Like, where are you getting this info from, Gawain? Who told you this? Unless, but like, who told you this, Gawain? Like, you don't know that, but admittedly, she is absolutely correct here. And of course, we get Turret versus Gawain, all nice and set up. Now, once again, I am just like this. Someone brought up a fantastic point, though. When I said, "Hey, Capital Knee could be Gother," a lot of people do bring up the idea that, well, no, not one, no, one specific person. It was, I read their comment and I meant to respond to them, I forgot to. But essentially, brought up the idea that, well, if ultimately Capital Knee truly was Gother, he wouldn't keep mentioning things that could possibly get our crew sussed out. But at the same time, I find it so hard to believe that Gawain's illusion magic is this strong, because we literally see this whole interaction here. In fact, I'm going to read it par for bar, page for page. Gawain is next, then. King Arthur's princess, isn't she? Oh, she was a wild child, but wild enough to join this? Then again, I feel like I'm forgetting something quite important about her. Something felt odd for a while now. Oh, would you like to rest, sir? No, I'm fine. Start the next match. The person brought up the idea that Capital Knee seems a little bit too mentioning things that may get our cast in trouble to be Gother. But at the same time, while I do like that idea, I don't think it's the worst way to disqualify Capital Knee or the best way to do it. Mainly because, one, we still have no explanation where Capital Knee came from. Two, it doesn't seem like Capital Knee was here last year. And three, I feel like this kind of has to be Gother reinforcing the basic illusion magic Gawain did. Unless Gawain's illusion magic is just that good. Because, like, he like Beltry, who's way stronger than Gawain, at least I have to assume is way stronger than Gawain at the moment right now, is literally here knowing that something's wrong. Like it is in his dome, like, he knows that something's wrong with Gawain. But he literally can't place it because of those rings? Just the rings? I want to believe Capital Knee is in there, like swimwear, and Beltry's mind being like, she's just a princess, right? Like, don't do it. But if not, I genuinely have no idea where Gother is. He has to be here, though. Like my glorious king, he has to be here. And I hope it's Capital Knee, but I do like that point that they brought up. However, with it being the case, we see that it is Gawain against Turret, and unfortunately, it seems that Turret was just set up vision. Like we knew Turret was gonna lose. And once again, he doesn't lose this chapter, but he's gonna lose. As we see, Turret tries to talk some smack, talking about, I just give you a lashing and let you go, but you've been a very naughty, naughty girl, Gawain. And thusly, I won't even let you leave here alive. And then Gawain's like, boom, and she blasts fire at him. Fireball, the most basic spell, but once again, it goes to show how much Gawain has evolved, because look at the scale of that bad boy. And as she critiques him for talking too much, he's just fine, once again with those strange implants right in front of him. And we see that she actually is able to somewhat perceive the Purgatory beast, or at least that's what I'm supposing this is, as she notes, this weird feeling. And we see that Percy's the one. Obviously, Percy's able to perceive these things because it is alive. So naturally, Percy the Life is able to perceive life. But he says, it's the invisible creature that attacked Anne. And Gwen's like, Nani? But it is interesting that she's able to somewhat sense the Purgatory beast. It wasn't, we know they operate weirdly, but there are two things Igneo had brought up, that maybe all Purgatory beasts are invisible. But considering how this one's revealed to not be invisible, I think there was just something said. I need to go reread the Purgatory section of Sevendeadlysins. But I don't think, unlike the astral beasts that exist in Purgatory, I think people could just regularly perceive and sense the creatures of Purgatory. But it is interesting that Gawain's able to sense it through its invisibility. And through, it's likely existence suppressing, I'm guessing, because it does have a magical signature. Like, Hawk had a magical signature that could be sensed, and he was a Purgatory beast. So I'm assuming all of them do. So I'm guessing this is a really solid perception feat for Gawain, for her to actually have this weird feeling. With that being the case, we see that Rothus does hit the Turret does hit the Sauvon, and it goes to attack Gawain, but she weaves pretty immaculately, only to be able to get knocked right back down. However, once again, impressive for tiny Gawain. She gets hit by the Purgatory beast, but doesn't actually hit the ground. She manages to float before actually making contact. Then she lands. And then we see, ultimately, that Gawain immediately breaks down all the details of this. So it's invisible, it flies, and fire doesn't work on it. What a freak of nature. And notably, while Turret immediately is like, oh yes, it's so amazing, it's so glorious, it's so beautiful, isn't it? You're destined for an amazing, legendary, torturous death. Gawain's like, I bet. And immediately activates Thunderball. And then she multiplies it times 10. Now, the one question I do have about this, and it may be confirmed next chapter, what is the difference between Dawn, Gawain's variation of Sunshine, or presumed variation of Sunshine, and her own base magic pool? Is it like Mael, in the sense that she has he had his own magic pool that he could draw from, and then he had Sunshine on top of that? Is it like Escanor, where Escanor didn't necessarily have a magic pool because Sunshine was an innate born magic? Or is it some strange mixture of both, where she can draw on the Sunshine or the Dawn magic pool in order to fuel her attacks, but she still has her own separate one if she needs to rely on? Essentially, I'm wondering, when she casts spells like this, the teleportation spell and the invisibility spell that she casts on top of these things, what works? What is being drained here? And how much does it affect her big form? Considering, once again, we haven't seen her consistently maintain that big form for like over 100 chapters at this point. Like, last time she was consistently in big mode was right when she was introduced. Then she kind of went in small mode, and she had a slight cameo of big mode at the end of part 1, but that's about it. But with it being the case, she vanishes all the lightning balls. And we see that notably, I'll admit, I thought Turret was smarter than this, but he watches all the magic balls poof away and is like, alright, I guess you're tapped out. Doses, little girl, and immediately goes to differ. But unfortunately for Turret, he was not familiar with Gawain's game, as the moment Sylvain goes to attack, it gets struck by lightning. And then we see that ultimately Gawain didn't just cast an invisible lightning ball spell times 10. She also implemented tracking into it. And that poor Sylvain beast, the moment it got tagged by the first lightning ball, all the other lightning balls started beating the taste out of it. And Sylvain is revealed to be this kind of Purgatory beast. Very, very interesting. Once again, Nakaba, when he wants to get freaky, and not in the other way that Nakaba gets freaky. Not in the other way that Nakaba gets freaky. But when Nakaba wants to get freaky, he can get freaky. Because what on earth is this thing? It looks so nasty. But would it be the case, bada bing, bada boom. Was this his invisible partner? It's a corpse of some unspeakable animal. I like it. Once again, I do like Nakaba's freaky designs. He gets a little too freaky for me sometimes. I still think Ordo, when he was transformed in the early series, like that was like made me want to hurl. But in this case, we find out that Gawain completely understands the nature of Purgatory Beast. As she says, it take a Purgatory Beast to have flight, invisibility, and fire resistance. It's clearly strong against flame and ice, so I tried a little electricity instead. Looks like it did the trick. So, Gawain is very, very, very well educated. And it does make sense. It seems like the Purgatory Beasts have just become a common phenomena in Camelot, so her having complete recognition and understanding of it is cool. Also, does confirm that everyone can see Purgatory Beasts, it's just that this one was uniquely invisible, which is very, very good. Like, this is a very broken kind of creature. And I guess it walks on its hind legs, considering the only tracks we ever saw of it were these tracks, which are its back legs or its hind legs, versus these, like, general paws that it has for the front legs, which implies that it, like, stands up like this, which is very, very freaky to think about. But of course, we see that my glorious King Balin is here and admits that, wow, quite the furor out here. And I do like how Hauser's like, quite the wild child too. So ultimately, both respect the power and personality on display. The double P. And we see that ultimately, Gawain's like, well, since I gave your dog back shots, if we can even call it a dog, it's time for you to get yours. And we see that Turret is like, me, back shots. No. My magic force lets me call creatures from Rothus's Purgatory Rift to do my bidding. Adjustment. So, that does reveal it. That does mean that Rothus and Turret are way less impressive than I initially thought they were. I thought they actually went into Purgatory to get these beasts. But no, it's just their unique magical ability. So it is interesting. I will admit, it's very interesting that people are just being born with the ability to reach Purgatory. Like it's not easy. Turret does just rip a hole in reality to access another time space. That's not like that's a calm little feat right there. Like, the only characters we've seen do that is like Melascula. Like, obviously the deities themselves, as they made the other worlds, but like Melascula. And even then, when Melascula specifically opened up a portal between worlds, it took a lot longer. Like, it took her a while to open a portal to the demon world. Admittedly, she was low on magic. But even in the past, when she had to warp the light of grace into something else, that took a while. So to have Turret to have Rothus, just a random human being, have the ability to tear open a rift in Purgatory and have him have the ability to resist what comes out of it, very, very impressive. And of course, we see that Turret gets to summoning a whole squad. And the reason I mentioned earlier that ultimately Turret's likely still gonna get them back shots is because he mentions, if you hadn't been a would-be sorcerer just now, you have died without a mark on your cute little face. So yeah, Turret, he's a lot freakier than I expected. But then again, it's a Nakaba character. Of course he's a little bit freaky. as now 3 more Purgatory beasts appear, and he declares, now there won't even be any bones left to pick up. Now, of course, he just assumes he's a sorcerer, has no idea about Gawain's other side, and that's why I presume next chapter is going to build to, showing us a little bit more of Beef Gawain. As we've seen a little bit of her in post-time skip, we haven't seen her in this specific fit just yet, so I'm excited to see her get some cookies. Overall, yeah! The KMW little chapter. I like what this shows for Gawain. I like the character work for Anne, and I do like the reveal of more and more Purgatory beasts. Once again, I am wondering if we're ever going to get like another species-esque series, like how Hawk and Wild, or Hawk and Wild, or Mild and Wild. They are a brother and younger brother. So like, I hope we do get more like Chaos Beast families, because so far every single Chaos Beast, or not Chaos Beast, every single Purgatory Beast we've seen is essentially randomized. Like it's there, we haven't seen 2 of the same, I don't think. So I'm hoping we get to see more of those and sort of like evolve and iterate on the species like we did with Mild and Wild. But overall, we're on W chapter. If you made all the way to the end of this video, please leave Freaky Beast. Freaky Beast. That could be referring to these Purgatory creatures. That could be referring to Nakaba. But regardless, leave Freaky Beast in the comment section down below. I'd say thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below. You can support me for as low as $1 a month to get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks will include the live reactions to every other series I happen to review, including this one. Sorry, I didn't do a live reaction for this one specifically because I want to do a little experiment once again. But live reactions to every other series I review, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi and description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Got the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Greyhound, Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Brandon Payne, Glacier XC, G Prosper, Planet Crone, and Zeta. And I'd like to give a big old thank you to our line art tier patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kirai Void, Kevin Encarnacion, Igneal Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our Ink tier patrons: Fine, Austin Wimberly, A Uchiha, Yuki Ally, and Carlo Alaimu. Then I'd like to give a gargantuan thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And then I'd like to give a big ol' gargantuan thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Overlord Zero, Waki Munoz, and iDemokami. And I'd like to give a legendary, top of the line, sublime, sweet mother of mercy, super slopping, juicy scrumdiddlyumptious thank you to our That Guy with a Pencil tier patron, Calvin Elder.